From a flicker of candlelight in 1789 to the glare of modern screens in the West Wing, every president has held the pen. Executive orders not passed by Congress, but etched into law by command. Some shaped history. Some sparked controversy. Others were forgotten. Until now. This is where we break them down. Every signature, every shift in power, every consequence still felt today. From Washington to Biden, welcome to Executive Order Watch.
Democracy, we live for it. For democracy, we fight for it. For democracy, we've died for it. And for democracy, we watch it. This is Executive Order.
1999, the final year of the 20th century. When I look back on it, I see a year of remarkable momentum, but also complexity. America was standing at the crossroads of the old and the new, riding a wave of unprecedented economic prosperity, while also grappling with challenges that tested the soul of our democracy and the resolve of our leadership. The economy. Let's start with the facts. 1999 was a banner year for the U.S. economy. We were deep in the longest peacetime expansion in American history. Unemployment fell to 4.1%, the lowest in 3 decades. Inflation stayed low. Wages rose. The stock market soared, driven by the tech boom and surging optimism about the power of the internet and innovation. Our fiscal discipline paid off. We produced another budget surplus, further shrinking the national debt and laying a foundation for Social Security and Medicare protection well into the future. International affairs. But even as America thrived at home, our eyes were focused abroad. The Kosovo War became a defining foreign policy challenge. Faced with ethnic cleansing in the Balkans, we led a 78-day NATO air campaign, not to conquer, but to protect. We acted decisively without deploying ground troops, and by year's end, Slobodan Milosevic withdrew his forces from Kosovo. Our goal was peace with purpose, and we achieved it alongside our allies. In 1999, we also opened the door for China to enter the World Trade Organization. That move sparked debate then, and still does today, but at the time, it was about bringing the world's most populous nation into the global economic rules-based system, with the hope that engagement could guide reform. Y2K and technology. Back home, we faced the ticking clock of the Y2K bug, a digital glitch rooted in how computers recorded years. It sounds almost silly today, but in 1999, it was a serious national security, infrastructure, and economic concern. We mobilized a massive public-private effort to test systems, share solutions, and avoid catastrophe. When midnight struck on January 1st, 2000, and the lights stayed on, we knew we had succeeded. That was a triumph of preparation, not luck, social policy, and governance. 1999 was also a year of advancing public health and education. We strengthened gun control enforcement, expanded funding for school modernization, and doubled down on our commitment to early childhood education and literacy. My administration remained focused on fiscal responsibility, international engagement, and technological readiness, while continuing to push bipartisan goals where we could find common ground. Scandal and stability, let's not sugarcoat it. The aftermath of the impeachment trial was still hanging in the air, but the American people were clear. They wanted their leaders to govern, not grandstand, and so we did. We proved that even in moments of political strain, a determined administration and a resilient nation could move forward together. Executive orders. Throughout the year, I signed dozens of executive orders, some dealing with global sanctions, others focused on educational opportunity, environmental protections, digital infrastructure, and government reform. We'll explore those soon because many of them weren't just reactions to problems, they were blueprints for the 21st century. So as we prepare to enter the new millennium, let's take a moment to review what those executive orders said about where we were and where we were determined to go. Next up, the executive orders of 1999, what they did, how they mattered, and how they still shape our present. Executive orders. Executive Order 13,110, Nazi War Criminal Records Interagency Working Group on January 11, 1999. Executive Order 13,111, Using Technology to Improve Training Opportunities for Federal Government Employees on January 12, 1999. Executive Order 13,112, Invasive Species on February 3, 1999. Executive Order 13,113, President's Information Technology Advisory Committee, further amendments to Executive Order 130,035, as amended on February 10, 1999. Executive Order 13,114, further amendment to Executive Order 12,852, as amended, extending the President's Council on Sustainable Development on February 25, 1999. Executive Order 13,115, Interagency Task Force on the Roles and Missions of the United States Coast Guard on March 25, 1999. Executive Order 13,116, Identification of Trade, Expansion Priorities, and Discriminatory Procurement Practices on March 31, 1999. Executive Order 13,117, further amendment to Executive Order 12,981, as amended on March 31, 1999. Executive Order 13,118, implementation of the Foreign Affairs Reform and Restructuring Act of 1998 on March 31, 1999. Executive Order 13,119, designation of Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, Serbia, Montenegro, Albania, the airspace above and adjacent waters as a combat zone on April 13, 1999. Executive Order 13,120, ordering the selected reserve and certain individual ready reserve members of the armed forces to active duty on April 27, 1999. Executive Order 13,121, blocking property of the governments of the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, Serbia, and Montenegro, the Republic of Serbia, and the Republic of Montenegro, and prohibiting trade transactions involving the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, Serbia, and Montenegro in response to the situation in Kosovo on April 30, 1999. Executive Order 13,122, Interagency Task Force on the Economic Development of the Southwest Border on May 25, 1999. Executive Order 13,123, Greening the Government through Efficient Energy Management on June 3, 1999. Executive Order 13,124, amending the Civil Service rules relating to federal employees with psychiatric disabilities on June 4, 1999. Executive Order 13,125, increasing participation of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders in federal programs on June 7, 1999. Executive Order 13,126, prohibition of acquisition of products produced by forced or indentured child labor on June 12, 1999. Executive Order 13,127, amendment to Executive Order 13,073, year 2000 conversion on June 14, 1999. Executive Order 13,128, implementation of the Chemical Weapons Convention and the Chemical Weapons Convention Implementation Act on June 25, 1999. Executive Order 13,129, blocking property and prohibiting transactions with the Taliban on July 4, 1999. Executive Order 13,130, National Infrastructure Assurance Council on July 14, 1999. Executive Order 13,131, further amendments to Executive Order 12,757, implementation of the Enterprise for the Americas Initiative on July 22, 1999, Executive Order 13,132 Federalism on August 4, 1999, Executive Order 13,133 Working Group on Unlawful Conduct on the Internet on August 5, 1999, Executive Order 13,134 Developing and Promoting Bio-Based Products and Bioenergy on August 12, 1999, Executive Order 13,135 Amendment to Executive Order 12216 President's Committee on the International Labor Organization on August 27, 1999, Executive Order 13,136 Amendment to Executive Order 13,090 President's Commission on the Celebration of Women in American History on September 3, 1999. Executive Order 13,137 Amendment to Executive Order 12,975 as amended National Bioethics Advisory Commission on September 15, 1999. Executive Order 13,138 Continuance of certain federal advisory committees on September 30th, 1999, Executive Order 13,139, Improving Health Protection of Military Personnel, participating in particular military operations on September 30th, 1999. Executive Order 13,140 1999 amendments to the Manual for Courts Martial, United States on October 6, 1999. Executive Order 13,141 Environmental Review of Trade Agreements on November 16, 1999. Executive Order 13,142 Amendment to Executive Order 12,958 Classified National Security Information on November 19, 1999. Executive Order 13,143, amending Executive Order 10,173, as amended, prescribing regulations relating to the safeguarding of vessels, harbors, ports, and waterfront facilities of the United States on December 1, 1999. Executive Order 13,144, adjustments of certain rates of pay on December 21, 1999.
Pauline's Pizza, where we deliver happiness one slice at a time. What's your craving today?
Yeah, hi. Is Seymour there?
Oh, Seymour. I think he might be busy making our special pies. But hey, why not swing by the pizzeria? We've got a pie with your name on it. Anything else I can help you with?
I was looking for Seymour Butts.
Ah, I see. Well, if you're looking for Seymour Butts, he might be hiding behind a pepperoni slice. Anything else I can do for you today?
No, that's it.
Hi, I'm Terrence, a marketing professional with a passion for helping your business grow smarter and faster. Here at Da Bomb Digital Media, based right here in Atlanta, Georgia, we specialize in bringing your vision to life. Whether you're launching your first website or reimagining your entire digital presence, we've got you covered. From modern website design and search engine optimization to setting up your own AI-powered agency tools, we deliver innovative solutions that keep you ahead of the curve. Ready to unlock your business's full potential? Let's build something remarkable together. For more information, visit our YouTube channel. Just search Da Bomb Digital Media on YouTube and start exploring tips, success stories, and everything you need to elevate your brand.
99.
Good evening, my fellow Americans. As we journey deeper into the final chapter of the 20th century, we arrive at the year 1999, a time of incredible transformation, global uncertainty, and rapid acceleration into the digital age. It was President Bill Clinton's pen, through his executive authority, that carved much of the federal government's approach to that changing world. Let's talk about what that year looked like and how the executive actions taken from the White House shaped both the challenges of 1999 and the foundation for the decades that followed. In 1999, the world stood on the brink of a new millennium. Fears of a technological apocalypse loomed under the banner of Y2K, the so-called millennium bug. That fear pushed both government and industry to act fast. President Clinton responded decisively with orders like Executive Order 13,127, which amended his earlier Y2K directive. These actions weren't just bureaucratic, they calmed markets, focused agencies, and helped the United States avoid widespread digital disruption when the clocks ticked into 2000. We saw military action in the Balkans intensify, and Clinton's executive orders responded directly. EO 13119 and EO 13120 officially designated Kosovo and Yugoslavia as combat zones and authorized the activation of reserve troops. Those actions provided the necessary legal authority to respond to one of the most urgent humanitarian crises of the time, but they also sparked controversy. Critics questioned the constitutional balance of war powers, especially without a formal declaration from Congress. Internationally, Clinton aimed to protect human rights and national security with EO 13126, which prohibited the acquisition of goods produced by forced or indentured child labor. That was a significant moral stand, one that still resonates in today's debates on supply chains and human rights abuses. At home, his environmental and technology agendas took root. EO 13123 pushed for greener energy practices across federal buildings. EO 13111 invested in technology-driven training for government workers, helping modernize the federal workforce. These may sound like internal reforms, but they laid the groundwork for sustainability standards and digital governance models that continue today. Clinton also turned his attention to bioenergy, cybercrime, and federalism. Orders like EO 13134 and EO 13133 promoted renewable alternatives and addressed unlawful conduct on the internet, both of which are now front and center in our national debates. Meanwhile, Executive Order 13132, focused on federalism, replaced several older orders, reaffirming the balance of state and federal responsibilities. And let's not forget about veterans, civil service reform, and historical recognition. Clinton's orders addressed the psychiatric disabilities of federal employees, celebrated women in American history, and opened up long-sealed records on Nazi war criminals. These weren't just policy memos. They were efforts to repair, restore, and reckon with our past. Now, not every action was universally praised. Some critics argued that Clinton's executive reach was growing too expansive, that too many structural decisions were bypassing legislative consensus, and in hindsight, not every initiative had the staying power envisioned. Some of these orders were later revoked or revised by future administrations. But that's the nature of executive action. It is a tool meant for immediacy, and sometimes it's the first draft of history. Still, many of Clinton's 1999 executive orders live on, some in spirit, others in statute. Whether it was protecting military health with EO 13139 or restructuring America's infrastructure resilience under EO 13130, these actions help shape both the direction of the government and the expectations of its people. So here we are, looking back on a year that was equal parts turbulent and forward-thinking. Executive power was used to manage conflict, guide innovation, protect the environment, and modernize the federal workforce, all within the span of 12 months. Next, we'll explore the top 10 executive orders of 1999, those with the greatest impact, the widest reach, and the most lasting effects on how we govern today. Stay with us. This is President Joe Biden, reflecting on the legacy of leadership, one executive order at a time. Joe Biden, calm, reflective tone. Good evening again, my fellow Americans. We now turn our eyes to the year 1999, a defining moment perched on the edge of a new millennium. The Cold War had faded, but global uncertainty remained. The internet was changing everything. The stock market soared on the back of dot-com optimism. And yet, trouble brewed just beneath the surface, politically, economically, and technologically. At the helm was President Bill Clinton, who used his executive authority not just to react, but to shape how the United States would step into the 21st century. Let's talk major global events of that year. The Kosovo War dominated headlines. NATO launched airstrikes against Yugoslavia to halt the ethnic cleansing of Albanians by Serbian forces. Clinton responded with Executive Orders 13119 and 13120, which legally authorized combat zone designation and mobilized our reserve forces. These were not just battlefield decisions. They signaled American leadership on the global stage in defending human rights. At the same time, tensions with the Taliban in Afghanistan began to rise. In response, EO 13129 froze assets and blocked trade with the Taliban. That order laid the legal and financial groundwork for sanctions still used against terrorist organizations today. And across the Pacific, fears of the Y2K bug created global anxiety. Clinton's administration moved swiftly to prepare federal systems. EO 13127 amended earlier mandates to ensure the government was ready. As a result, the feared digital collapse never came, and that response became a case study in crisis prevention through interagency coordination. Here at home, America grappled with growing income inequality as the tech boom widened the gap between the connected and the forgotten, deepening political division with Congress embroiled in partisanship following Clinton's impeachment trial earlier that year, and shifting environmental consciousness as fears over pollution and climate change moved into the public spotlight. In response, Clinton issued EO 13123 to green government operations, mandating energy efficiency in federal buildings. That order evolved into the environmental standards used by federal agencies today. The push for sustainability that gained steam in 1999, it's still echoing in the climate policies of 2025. Clinton's EO 13126 took on forced child labor by prohibiting federal agencies from buying goods made through exploitation, a directive that foreshadowed today's supply chain transparency efforts. Meanwhile, Executive Order 13132, titled Federalism, reaffirmed the balance between state and federal powers. In today's heated legal battles over abortion access, environmental regulation, and voting rights, the principles outlined in that order are still invoked in courtrooms across America. He even addressed cybersecurity and digital crime through EO 13133, setting up a working group to tackle unlawful Internet conduct. We didn't yet know the full power or danger of the Internet in 1999, but that executive order marked one of the earliest White House responses to the digital threatscape. And in a deeply moral gesture, Executive Order 13110 formed a working group to declassify Nazi war criminal records, a move that promoted historical transparency and justice for Holocaust survivors and their families. So how do these executive actions affect us now? Well, ask anyone working in federal energy management, and they'll tell you their benchmarks date back to 1999. Ask today's trade officials why we have forced labor clauses in procurement rules, and you'll trace it back to Clinton's orders. Talk to veterans, federal employees with disabilities, or bioenergy innovators, and you'll find their journeys influenced by the framework built that year. The Kosovo intervention also shaped how America engages with NATO, refugee crises, and modern presidential war powers. Clinton's EOs weren't just reactionary, they were foundational. 1999 was a pivot point. It demanded speed, strategy, and vision from the executive office. And through these orders, President Clinton showed how a pen in the right hand could still guide a nation toward progress, justice, and security. Now, as we close this look back, it's time to dig deeper. Coming up next, I'll walk you through the top 10 executive orders of 1999, the ones that left the deepest mark on policy, people, and power. Some will surprise you, others will remind you of the challenges we still haven't solved. Stay with us. This is President Joe Biden, and this is Executive Order Watch, bringing history forward, one decision at a time. Top 10 executive orders of 1999. Number 1, Executive Order 1, 3132, Federalism, signed August 4th, 1999. Impact in 1999. This EO redefined the relationship between the federal government and the states. It required federal agencies to consult with state and local officials before issuing regulations that would affect them. It was Clinton's response to growing concerns about federal overreach, lasting effect. It remains a cornerstone for lawsuits and legal interpretations involving state versus federal powers, especially visible today in debates over abortion rights, gun control, and environmental regulations. Number 2, Executive Order 13129, blocking property and prohibiting transactions with the Taliban, signed July 4th, 1999. Impact in 1999. This EO froze Taliban assets and blocked U.S. citizens from doing business with them. It was issued after reports that Afghanistan's Taliban regime was harboring Osama bin Laden. Lasting effect, this EO laid the groundwork for the post-9/11 sanction system. It introduced early use of financial tools to fight terrorism, a model still used today against hostile states and terror groups. Number 3, Executive Order 13,123, Greening the Government Through Efficient Energy Management. Signed June 3, 1999. Impact in 1999. Clinton directed all federal agencies to reduce energy use and greenhouse gas emissions. This EO sparked the first nationwide energy conservation plan across government buildings. Lasting effect, today's federal sustainability guidelines stem from this directive. It also helped shift procurement toward energy-efficient products and influence the Biden administration's climate resilience strategy. Number 4, Executive Order 13,126, Prohibition of Acquisition of Products Produced by Forced or Indentured Child Labor. Signed June 12, 1999. Impact in 1999. This EO banned U.S. agencies from buying goods made by child labor overseas. It was a moral stance against exploitation and a direct message to global supply chains. Lasting effect, still active today, it paved the way for modern anti-slavery and labor transparency laws, including legislation addressing forced labor in regions like Xinjiang, China. Number 5, Executive Order 13,128, Implementation of the Chemical Weapons Convention, signed June 25, 1999, impact in 1999. Clinton ensured that the U.S. complied with the international ban on chemical weapons. The EO established regulatory authority for inspections and declarations. Lasting effect. This EO remains a key part of non-proliferation policy, especially as global tensions grow with Russia, North Korea, and other nations with chemical weapon capabilities. Number 6, Executive Order 13,121, Blocking Property and Prohibiting Transactions with the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, signed April 30, 1999, impact in 1999. Issued during the Kosovo conflict, this EO punished Slobodan Milosevic's regime economically. It helped end ethnic violence by combining military and economic pressure. Lasting effect. Set the stage for modern conflict response strategy using coordinated sanctions, similar to the Ukraine-Russia sanctions applied in recent years. Number 7, Executive Order 13,110, Nazi War Criminal Records Interagency Working Group, signed January 11, 1999, impact in 1999. This EO formed a team to declassify U.S. documents related to Nazi war criminals. It demonstrated a commitment to historical truth and justice for Holocaust victims. Lasting effect, contributed to the public record on war crimes and transparency. Its framework inspired similar declassification efforts for 9/11, Vietnam, and Cold War documents. Number 8, Executive Order 13,133, Working Group on Unlawful Conduct on the Internet, signed August 5, 1999, impact in 1999. As the Internet exploded, Clinton created a federal team to study and combat online crime, including fraud, hacking, and exploitation. Lasting effect. This was the first formal White House recognition of Internet crime. It laid the foundation for cybersecurity strategies and federal cybercrime divisions in agencies like the FBI and DHS. Number 9, Executive Order 13,127, Amendment to EO 13,073 on Y2K Readiness, signed July 14, 1999, impact in 1999. This EO adjusted federal protocols to prepare for the Y2K bug, coordinating tech efforts across government agencies. Lasting effect, the successful Y2K response, with no catastrophic failures, became a blueprint for crisis prevention, interagency data planning, and tech modernization efforts still used today. Number 10, Executive Order 13,134, Developing and Promoting Bio-Based Products and Bioenergy, signed August 12, 1999, impact in 1999. Clinton made a major push to promote agriculture-based fuel alternatives, launching federal R&D initiatives in biofuels and bioproducts. Lasting effect, a foundational step in America's renewable energy strategy. Today's ethanol fuel policies, clean diesel standards, and investments in green innovation stem from this EO. Summary. 1999's executive orders weren't just about immediate needs. They pushed the federal government to lead by example in areas ranging from climate action and labor rights to tech regulation and international justice. These 10 actions showcase how a president can wield executive power not just to respond, but to anticipate the future.
Some write history with blood, some with laws, but the sharpest stroke comes from the pen. Executive power ain't just a tool. It's a weapon wielded by the few, affecting the many. They sign it, we live it. They order it, we obey it. Here, watching, digging, remembering. From the plantation to the proclamation, from internment camps to civil rights stands, from surveillance laws to student loan draws. Order can change your life, and you might not even know it, but now you do. So stay locked in, stay woke, stay sharp. We ain't just talking about power, we tracking it. Executive Order Watch, and we ain't blinking.